Well, what a great privilege it is to be sat here in Finse, Norway, with these two incredible people, Shackleton Director of Expeditions Louis Rudd and Shackleton Expeditions Manager Wendy Searle. We've arrived in Finse, Norway today, and it's end of January, so we're only about 3 weeks away from hosting the first set of Challenges clients. We're really excited about bringing you out to this incredible place, which is steeped in polar history and completely synonymous with Shackleton and his polar history as well. So we're currently sat in the Framheim Hut, which is a replica of Amundsen's hut, which he built in Antarctica when he was down there in the early 20th century. So here we are, and here's Lou, fresh off his expedition in Antarctica. You've literally been back in the UK for, well, less than a week actually.
Yeah, about a week since I landed back, yeah. So yeah, incredible 2 months down in Antarctica, working with Martin Hewitt from the Adaptive Grand Slam, and yeah, we got to ski over 400 miles to the geographic South Pole together. And then afterwards we went off and climbed Mount Vinson, the highest peak on the continent. So yeah, it's fantastic expedition, and yeah, really enjoyed the time down there, and that's G'd me up ready to come out here to Finse and meet the clients.
So your polar skills honed?
Yeah, fully refreshed, and yeah, ski legs are feeling strong. So yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic. Race for the client through their paces.
Yeah. No, I'm really looking forward to sharing all these years of experience that I've built up, and passing on all these skills and knowledge. And
have you learned anything new this time? Because you're always learning, right? So
yeah,
anything new on the most recent Antarctic trip?
I think I've got more efficient on the routines out there. So the sort of ski routines and just routines of pitching the tents and speeding up the process of getting that cooker on and melting snow, which, as you know, is really time consuming. So yeah, every time I go down there, I learn something new. Being able to pass that on, to the clients, I think it's going to be great fun. Really looking forward to working with the gang out here. We've got some great teams from what Wendy tells me.
Honestly, they're looking brilliant, and it's funny how they've all started gelling into their own different sites. They've all got their own personalities as teams already. We're having some fun with that. So it's going to be brilliant.
Brilliant. That's great. So how is Mount Vinson then? I guess clearly lots and lots of polar experience, but a little bit less climbing experience. I know you've been training hard for that particular aspect, but how was that? I guess a totally different challenge for you this time around.
It was. I mean, probably the most impressive thing was the scenery. That whole range of mountains. It's the Vinson sort of massive range. And the peaks and the scenery around there. I'm mostly used to sort of the polar plateau, or the polar flatteau as it's nicknamed, which can be a distinct lack of scenery. It can be quite similar each day in, day out, but yeah, once you're in amongst those mountain ranges of the Vinson Massif, it's just incredible. We're seeing avalanching and seracs and huge ice rubble coming down, and yeah, that was the most impressive thing. And we got really lucky on summit day. It was perfect visibility, really clear. We could see for miles, hundreds of miles across the continent in every direction.
That's amazing.
And to be at that highest point and looking down on everything else, knowing you're at the highest point on the continent, and everything else on that whole continent is below you. It's pretty special, so
I guess for you as well, having been to the South Pole now 4 times, and done traverse twice, obviously one leading team and one solo. I guess to get that different perspective of the continent, I guess up until that point you'd always been just at ground level essentially. So I guess just to have that view of the kind of continent that I guess has become such a significant part of your life must be really inspiring.
It really opened my eyes to the different areas on the continent. I thought I'd seen a lot of the continent, which I have, with the nearly 4,000 miles I've traversed across it, but I've never been into an area like that, and just how impressive and beautiful it was. So
fantastic.
And definitely felt the altitude, even though it's mountaineering terms, it's not huge. It's just below 5,000 meters. But apparently, because of the cold air pressure, it makes the altitude feel much higher than what it is. And they reckon it's probably the impact on the body is closer to a 6,000 meter peak.
Is that right?
And how it feels, because it's something to do with the cold air pressure that I don't fully understand. But they're assuring me that what you're experiencing now is kind of how it would feel on the summit of a 6,000 meter. And we definitely we took a real steady pace going up, and the minute you tried to go a little bit quicker, instantly breathless, and you felt it. So it was I learned a lot. It's the first time I've been up fixed lines, ascending up those and using crampons and ice axes, going up a big head wall on the side of the feature. It was incredible experience, and absolutely. So yeah, it'd be great if we as Shackleton potentially can offer that kind of experience in the future.
What about here? So people, that's not quite the same as the terrain here. So what can clients expect when they arrive in terms of, is it big mountains? Is it crevasses? Was it going to be like?
Yeah, well, Fince is the perfect training ground, for preparing for polar journeys. I mean, the likes of Scott, Shackleton, Amundsen, they all came here for a reason and trained here, and it's kind of become the hub for the polar community as well. And a lot of people come here and train for, even in modern times, for their expeditions to Antarctica and Greenland and Iceland. And
well, of course, both of you two, you frequented.
So this could be the first step for our clients.
Totally.
It might end up being. They might end up doing a massive polar journey.
It was one of my first steps.
It was my first step.
It was your first step. You trained here, for your solo expedition to Antarctica, and it's got everything. It's the journey in is incredible, that we just experienced on the train, and the scenery. The fact you can only get here by train, there's no roads, is pretty cool. You get off at the station, and all that's here really is the hotel. That is the station. So you haven't got, you do feel remote and like you're out in the wilderness. It's the highest point on the Oslo-Bergen railway line, and based out of the hotel. The hotel's got fantastic facilities as a base camp to support the training. They're used to people coming here and deploying on expeditions and doing their training, so the hotel is perfectly set up to support what we're looking to do. And then out the back you've got the Finse Vatnet, which is the lake, which you can't tell there's a lake out there from the fact that it's rain's flat, because it's
no one's going to be falling through the lake.
No, it's several meters thick, the ice, and with a good covering of snow on, so you can't even tell there's a lake there. But and then around the edge of the lake it's surrounded by mountains, fantastic, stunning mountainous terrain. So
might see some wildlife, maybe.
There's reindeer. There's been reports of Arctic fox have been seen in the area, etc. So we're in the heart of the Hardangervidda National Park. So absolutely, it is an amazing wilderness. And there's a training area. We can do all the basic stuff will be done on nice and easy with the pulks on the flat of the lake, and then as we progress, then we'll get into more challenging terrain and undulations and start skiing up and down and negotiating some pretty tricky terrain with the pog. So as a training venue, it's like I can't think of anywhere better.
We've seen a group skiing out today with their roll mats and tents. Is it going to be like this when we're training?
I mean, at the moment we're in like back end of January. You expect bad weather January into February, so we've deliberately poised our training for March into April, where we should get better weather, which is actually for training and teaching purposes. We're better off with slightly calmer conditions. It would be quite challenging to be outside in these conditions today and deliver lessons, and because people are going to be focused on just surviving rather than actually paying attention to what they're being taught. So the idea behind coming here later in the season, better snow conditions, more hours of daylight, so we can spend more time outside and achieve what we want to achieve, and actually see something and see the scenery. You can't see a hand in front of your face out there today, so you can't really appreciate where you are. So that's the idea behind coming a bit later. We should have more stable conditions, which will be better for what we're here for.
So this little clip might be for people who are about to come on a challenge, but if people are just watching this for the first time thinking, what's this all about, what would you kind of say to them about why you would want to even do something like that?
I think you are you learn a lot about yourself. I think kind of pushing it, taking yourself out of that comfort zone a little bit, stretching yourself, and I think that's really rewarding. They might not appreciate it at the time. We call it type 2 fun. At the time, it's like, this is quite hard. But it's when you you finish it and you're kind of successful and you get back into the hotel after a long, hard day, or it's like the end of the week and you get back onto that train and you kind of sit there and reflect back on it and think, actually, that was awesome. And that really kind of like pushed me, a bit, and kind of took me out of my comfort zone. But I learned so much, I picked up so many new skills, and I learned how to survive and travel and be safe in quite a hostile environment. And I think that's, for me, that's really rewarding, and I'm going to get a lot out of watching people go through that process, because me and you've gone through it in the past, on various expeditions, and seeing these clients come out and go from a zero experience start point, and by the end of the week accumulated a lot of skills and feel confident to go out and travel and camp out overnight, and melt snow and all the other skills that we're going to teach them. I think they'll find that really rewarding, and
yeah, so many things to drill down into there about finding out more about yourself and pushing your comfort zone. We should do a podcast. That's what we should do next.
We should. About
yeah,
exactly. It's sort of the sort of thing we talk about a lot at Shackleton is the moment that made me, or discovering who you truly are and all that type of stuff.
And do you have one of those, a moment that made you?
That's a really good question. Yeah, I've got a couple. So I think what we're trying to do with Shackleton Challenges is essentially do just that. We want to take people out of their comfort zone, physically, mentally, emotionally, and all that type of stuff. Because I guess it's when you're out of the comfort zone, which you guys know very, very well, is that's when you start to kind of go on that discovery, that self-discovery of self. You start to go on that journey of finding out, your character and who you really are, and kind of you have to go through those kind of difficult moments and come out the other side. And obviously that's life enhancing because it makes you feel more confident about anything else that you face in life, because you realise that you've overcome your fears and you found the courage to overcome some difficult barriers, whether it be physical or mental. And so that's what we're trying to do with Shackleton Challenges. And then of course all those lessons, and I guess you guys will know really well, is that you can apply them in any walk of life. Then your professional career, relationships, home life, whatever it might be, and so it's all applicable. But
and it's self-belief. You come away from something like this and you got through it, and and you just improve your self-belief and confidence, which applies then to the rest of your life, and everything else you go on to. And
absolutely,
and it's a good start point, especially like our level 1 stuff. People no experience, they to come and do that, and then it's a stepping stone then to go on and do other things. So well,
that's great. Well, we'll talk about some of the experience our clients have had so far, because Wendy, our expeditions manager, has been looking after our clients very closely for the last 6 months. But before we do that, just a little bit on the different levels. So here in Finse, we're hosting 2 different types of challenges. One is Polar Skills, one is Expedition. Polar Skills is level 1. Expedition is actually level 3. So it's a perfect training ground and location to be able to offer that, those 2 different types of challenges. So level 1, in the main, the clients will be staying in the hotel, which was a fantastic hotel, as Lou's already described. It's by itself. You can only access it via the train, which is about 4 hours out of Oslo. And then obviously at the end of the week there's going to be a 24 to 36 hour mini expedition where you'll be putting all the things you've learned that week into practice, sleeping out on the ice in a tent obviously, and having what would an authentic polar experience. And then the level 3, that's going to be a bit more challenging. That's going to be around about 100-kilometer A to B ski tour, pulling pulks, and camping out on the ice every night. Basically, you get to stay at the hotel the first night and the last night to celebrate the achievements, but 2 very different things. But in terms of the build-up, obviously what we do at Shackleton is prepare you and equip you. Not just inspire you, but prepare and equip you for the challenge. And a part of that process is getting you ready physically, mentally, nutrition advice, kit advice, and all this is handled by our extraordinary expeditions manager, Wendy Searle. Wendy, just tell us a little bit about the relationships you built up with the clients ahead of the first set of challenges.
It's been really incredible, actually. It really, I've been exactly where those clients are, and not actually very long ago, where I didn't know what it was going to be like here. I didn't know whether I'd have the right kit, or enough kit, or any of those things, or nutrition, or really I didn't know anything. And I sort of had to figure it out by myself largely. But what we do at Shackleton is we're there with people from that moment where they have discovered this challenge and think, is that for me? We talk to them about their experience, and people's experience is really varied. So a lot of our clients have done pretty gnarly things, but maybe a little while ago, they've had a family and they kind of want to get back to doing that maybe a bit more, or they've done a bit of skiing but no kind of camping out on snow. So it's a real mixture. Not everybody who comes on the level 1 challenges can ski, so don't let that be something that puts you off. But just going through with them, from them not really knowing anything to really them being so excited now at a few weeks out from the challenges, and meeting each other as their teams, getting really down to discussing about how many pairs of socks, or why they're all kind of doing these different challenges, what their motivations are. And actually I would say quite a large majority of people have come on these challenges at the early stages because they have big polar dreams, and I've been there myself, and you kind of get to that after a little while, so people tell you that they're interested in doing the challenge, and that's all fine, and then you know, it's like Columbo. We almost get to the very end of the conversation. They're like, oh, but you know, maybe one day I might think about doing this. And it's so important for us to know that, because we can build the challenges. We've got a really good client to guide ratio. We can build the challenges with those needs in mind. We can push people where they need to be pushed. We can look after people where, you know, that might not be for them, and really kind of fit it to the needs and ambitions. But we want to push people a little bit. You know, we want people to be out of their comfort zone, but not in the panic zone. So, you know, we don't want anyone to be miserable, but we definitely want to show people what they can do. And they've now got all those tools, because we've talked about nutrition, and the most popular thing of this whole customer journey has been people getting their expedition food dried rations, which you know has been like a really exciting.
Because it's quite unique for most people, isn't it, to have, you know, have dried food.
They definitely taste better when you're on expedition. They taste so good, you know, when you're sort of piling into the tent after a long day and you just want something hot to eat. But it's been such an enjoyable part of my job, is seeing everybody go from, oh, you know, I'm not really sure, is this for me, to, you know, we're all pretty excited now to be getting on with it, especially with COVID and everything, and that it's the first set of Shackleton Challenges. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's really exciting. And you know, more exciting news as well is that, which Lou already alluded to actually, Shackleton Challenges will be designing and delivering challenges on Antarctica as well. So you'll be able to join us to get to the South Pole. So if you've got loads of experience already, then, you know, that might suit you straight away. But if you haven't, as Wendy's just described, you can go through the different levels. You can start at level 1 polar skills with us here in Norway, and then maybe in 3 years' time we'll be able to take you to the South Pole. And there's various ways of doing that. We could take you to the last degree, and then you do a sort of roughly about an 8-day expedition into the South Pole, or you could do a coast to pole route, which both of these guys have done. But of course, we can also offer mountaineering as well. So as Lou just described, he's recently summited Mount Vinson, and we'll be able to offer the same thing as well. So that's a really exciting thing. And we've obviously got other challenges lined up too later this year. Fire and Ice in Iceland in May, and then we're about to launch the Alpine Challenge, which will be in the Alps, and we're doing that at the end of July, and then others in the pipeline that we're working on. So yeah, super exciting times. Really looking forward to delivering the first set of challenges here in Finse.
Absolutely.
Brilliant.
Cool.